I have taken over $100,000 in flights in my 20s, the bougiest of the bougie, and I've stayed at some pretty expensive hotels as well. But the cool part is I've done all of this without spending any of my own money. I've actually done all of it using credit card points. So I'm talking about what travel hacking is and how you can do it passively, what card you should be using to do this, how to earn points and miles in an unlimited way so you never run out, like I've been doing for the past 4 or 5 years now. And lastly, how to use those points to find flights and redeem them. How to travel hack passively. So what is travel hacking? It's using credit card points, miles, and promotions to get free travel. And this works on flights, hotels, and even car rentals. And how do you do it passively? Now, most people don't realize that from the everyday spend that you do, your rent, groceries, food, the museums you go to, all of this spend, by putting it on the right cards, you can accumulate these points and miles that you can then use for that travel. And the thing is, this was money that you were already gonna spend anyway. The only difference is you're now putting it on the right card so you can earn that free travel. Let me give an example. Let's say you spent $1,000 on groceries, $450 on water, electricity, phone bill, $200 on gas, and let's say you have about $2,000 of monthly expenses. That's about $24,000 in a year that you're spending. If you were to spend those $24K on a debit card, you get nothing back from that, zero. You just spend the money and it's gone. However, if you put those same $24K on a card that, let's say, earns 1.5x back on all the spend that you just did, well, from that, you're getting about 36,000 points. And those 36,000 points could be used for about $360 of cash back, literally money that you're getting back for the money you're already spending, or you could also use it to redeem it for travel. So the thing is, most people think that since you're paying with a credit card, you fall into credit card debt. But that's actually not true. If you treat your credit card like a debit card and you pay it off in full every single month, you're paying no interest on that money. The only difference is, instead of putting it on your debit card, you just put it on the credit card. So when it comes to travel hacking, what credit card should you be using? So there's usually 4 main players in the game. You have Amex, you have Chase, you have Capital One, and you have Citi. Now with each of those banks, I would say there's about 2 or 3 cards that you want to tackle if you want to utilize it for travel hacking. For example, starting with Chase. When it comes to Chase, you have the main travel cards, which is the Sapphire and the Sapphire Reserve. However, I also do recommend some of their beginner cards, which is the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited. Those are cards that you can easily get, you can earn points and miles with them, and you can use them in the future with these travel cards as well. Then we got Amex, famous Amex. Honestly, when it comes to Amex, really the only cards that, as of right now, at the time of this recording, that really work for travel are the green card, the gold card, and the platinum card. With Capital One, Venture X, definitely a top choice. You also have the Venture card, you have the Venture One, and you have the Spark Miles, which is, I don't recommend it, but it's still an option if you're looking to travel and you want to have a business card. And then lastly, you have Citi. You can get the Citi Double Cash, Citi Custom Cash. These are great cards that you can use for like everyday spend, and you can still earn what are called thank you points, which are redeemable for travel. And then recently, Citi did come out with their Strata card. The Strata card is Citi's version of their travel card. It's very similar to the Sapphire Preferred. And real quick, honorable mention, Wells Fargo, they do have the Bill card. So a lot of people know the Bill card is good for paying rent, and you can actually earn points from paying your rent. And recently they also came out with their Autograph card, Autograph Personal and their Autograph Journey. And those are 2 cards that you can use to earn Wells Fargo points. Now the reason I mentioned the cards that I mentioned, it's because they all earn what's called flexible reward points. And that's important because a lot of you try and focus on hotel cards and airline cards. And I honestly try to avoid those unless you're a little bit more advanced on the travel hacking side. When you're beginner to intermediate, you want to have cards that earn flexible points, meaning these are points that you can transfer out to different transfer partners, right? You're not stuck to, if you get a Delta card, you can only use it for Delta flights. If you get a United card, you can only use it for United flights. If you get Amex points, Citi points, Chase points, Capital One points, you can use these for different airlines, different hotels, which is why they're considered flexible points. So all the cards that you see listed on this screen are the cards that you would want to go for. This is how I get millions of credit card points and never run out of them. One of the top questions I always get is, how am I always traveling for free and not, I never run out of points. You always see me on business class flights, staying at some pretty cool hotels like I am on this trip right now. And there's a few strategies that I want to show you guys that you can utilize to pretty much do the same thing. It's really nothing out of this world. It's nothing complicated. Number 1 is sign-up bonuses. So most of you overlook the fact that you can apply for a single card and get anywhere from like 150 to 250,000 points as a sign-up bonus, literally for signing up for the card and spending a set amount of money that you're probably already going to spend anyway within the span of 3 to 6 months. So instead of spending that money on a debit card or in cash, sign up for a credit card that has a sign-up bonus. You can go to websites like uscreditcardguide.com, and they actually have this cool little section where it'll show you which cards have the highest sign-up bonuses. And these guys literally update every single week, every single month of what cards have the highest bonuses available. Number 2 is stacking portals. Another thing that I think a lot of you guys overlook is anytime that you're shopping online, because most of the shopping that we do is online, make sure you're stacking shopping portals. One of the most popular ones that you can use is Rakuten. So let's say your credit card is earning you 1.5 to 2x back on the spend that you're already doing online, right? When we use these shopping portals, all you have to do is, if you're gonna buy from a specific website, you go through the shopping portal first, and they usually give you an additional anywhere from like 1 to 15% back as well. So you can stack that with the multipliers that you have on your card, plus the multipliers that you're getting from the shopping portal. A good tool resource for that is cashbackmonitor.com. This website will show you which shopping portal is the best to utilize for whatever website you're shopping at. So you can basically maximize the amount that you get back. Which leads me to my third point, category spending. A big issue I see most of you doing is you use the wrong cards at the wrong places. For example, you see a lot of people using their platinum card at a restaurant. But the thing about the platinum card is, even though it's a nice bougie card, only earns 1x back when you eat at restaurants. Versus if you have something like a gold card, whether it's personal or business, you're getting 4x back on dining. So you go out to eat with some friends, maybe at an expensive place, you spend about $1,000 with everybody, you put it on your card, right? You put on a platinum, those $1,000 you're earning about 1,000 points. Put on the gold card, that's 4,000 points. Start doing that every single month and you'll notice how many points you can accumulate just from using the right cards on the right spending categories. After that, number 4 is referral bonuses. This is one of my favorite ways to accumulate hundreds of thousands of points every year. If you have friends or family members, or if you're a business owner and you know other business owners, a lot of these credit cards that earn points and miles, you can refer them over to other people. So for example, I help business owners get anywhere from 0 to over $100,000 in 0% funding. Now when I'm helping them get this funding, credit card like the Chase Ink Cash or Chase Ink Preferred has a referral bonus of about 20,000 points, I believe. So anytime that I help a business owner get approved for that Ink Preferred or Ink Cash, they get approved and they get about 70 to 90,000 points as a sign-up bonus for that card. But me, for referring them, I earn 20,000 points. Do that with about 2 or 3 people a month, and now I'm earning anywhere from 20 to 60,000 points in 1 month without having to sign up for a credit card myself. I'm just helping someone else get approved for a card and also helping them get funded at the same time. Honestly, one of the easiest ways to get this done is when you start posting a lot of the travel that you do or the places that you stay at, and people start asking, how do you do it? Just be like, yo, apply for this card and I'll teach you how to do it. And then after they apply, they get approved, you get the bonus, and then you give them a little quick rundown on how to play the game. Number 5 is a player 2 strategy. Now I leave this one towards the end because I know it's not accessible to everyone, but a player 2 strategy is when you have someone, could be a friend or a significant other that you travel with, and you have them apply for certain credit cards so they can earn those points and miles, and you can merge them with yours. And you can also combine the referral strategy that I mentioned in the previous with this. So if I get a Chase Ink card, 90,000 point sign-up bonus, I refer my player 2, get 20,000 for referring them, and then they also get 90,000. So that's 180,000 plus a 20 from me referring them, that's 200,000. This is why it's important to date someone who has pretty good credit. I actually have my player 2 right here. I am teaching her how to play the points and miles game. So the other day on my Instagram, I asked you guys, what trip would you want me to travel hack for you? And we got quite a few answers here. The 3 things that I asked for was where you're flying from, where you would like to fly to, and what points you have available. So first we have Jimmy. Jimmy's hoping to propose next year. Looks like he's trying to propose in New York. Congrats, Jimmy. So Jimmy has 250,000 Chase points, 360,000 Amex points, and 110 Citi thank you points. So let's get on the computer and get a lay flat business class from San Francisco to New York. Now, unfortunately, Jimmy didn't give me any dates here. I'm just gonna pick the middle of January. For the sake of keeping things short to the point, I'm gonna give you guys my 2 top tools that I like to utilize. And one of them you're probably already using, and that's gonna be Google Flights. So we plug in the routes here, SFO to JFK. Now, I'm gonna assume, since it's for a proposal, that you wanna fly in business class. You're not trying to take your girl in economy, right? So let's put business class. Flight like that is gonna cost anywhere from $850 to $1,000 per person. So we're looking about roughly $2K just to go to New York. Now, how can we travel hack this? The next tool that I like to utilize is called Seats.Aero. What I like about Seats.Aero is that it's a very dummy-proof website. Even if you have very little to no experience in points and miles, it's very similar to Google Flights where you can just plug and play. Now, when I'm looking at Google Flights, I like to see what the cash value of a flight looks like, because there are times where it actually just makes sense to pay cash outright and it just doesn't make sense to use points. The way you can tell this is through something called CPP, which stands for cents per point. This is a formula that they didn't teach in school, but it's a very useful formula to determine if you're getting the best value for your points. A good rule of thumb in the points and miles space is making sure that you're always getting at least 2 cents per point on your redemption. So let's take a look real quick. We know the cash price is gonna be about $1,000. When we go to my second favorite tool, Seats.Aero, we plug in the same routes, SFO to JFK on the same date, and we start to see what's available, right? Now, since we're trying to get him in business class, we have some options here as low as 26,500 points, but in order for you to book this, you need American Airline miles, which he doesn't have. He only has Chase, Amex, and Citi. We know that Alaska, right here, is a transfer partner of American Express. And we're gonna talk about the transfer partners in just a second here. So we know that SFO to JFK, we can find a direct flight for as low as 35,000 points. We click here, we check in business, and we know that the flight is in the lay flat seat. So you're gonna get to take a little nap on the way there. It's gonna cost you roughly 35,000 points per person, and you're gonna pay about $18 of taxes and fees. So based on the CPP calculator, let's see if we're getting good redemption here. We're gonna pull up a random one that I found here on Google. Just look up CPP calculator online. So when it comes to points or miles, we know this is gonna be about 35,000 points per person. We're gonna go ahead and skip this one for right now. Total cash cost, we know that the flight's gonna be about $1,000. And then here we can plug in how much we're paying in taxes and fees using the points and miles, and it's gonna be about $19. So once we hit calculate cents per point, boom, it gives us here that we're getting at least 2.8 cents per point on this redemption, which means we have the green light. This is a booking that we would want to spend our points and miles on because we're getting over that 2 cents per point. Now, going back to knowing which points and miles you need to use to do these type of bookings. Well, there's two ways. One is understanding the different transfer partners that exist. So in this case, our friend Jimmy told us that he had Chase, Amex, and Citi points. And when we look at the Chase transfer partners right here, you can see all the ones that are available. You can see Citi's, and then you can also see American Express. By just looking at these three different options and going back to Seats.Aero, well, we know he doesn't have American Airlines points, so we can pretty much exclude all four of these options right here, which really just leaves us with Alaska and Qatar, right? If we want to spend the least amount of points here, which is about 35,000. Now, the thing about Alaska is in the past year, they recently partnered with Hawaii Airlines, meaning you can use Hawaiian miles to convert them over to Alaska miles. And if we look at all the transfer partners with Citi, nowhere here do you see Hawaiian or Alaska. If we look at Chase, same thing, no Hawaii, no Alaska. However, we look at Amex, you'll notice they have Hawaiian Airlines. So now knowing that, I know that I can use my Amex points, or in this case, Jimmy's Amex points. We can transfer them over to Hawaiian and then convert them from Hawaiian over to Alaska. So we can book this flight right here from San Francisco to JFK in business class for him and his girlfriend. So at this point, Jimmy has spent 70,000 points to get himself and his girlfriend to New York in lay flat business class and about roughly $40 in taxes and fees. But let me help a brother out. He has enough points to get a really nice hotel that he can stay at while he's in New York. He did mention that he had about 250,000 Chase points, so let's use that for the hotel. Now, before we do that, if we look at the Chase transfer partners, you'll notice that on the hotel side, they have Marriott, World of Hyatt, and IHG. Just to keep things simple, Chase points are always the most valuable when you're using them to book Hyatt hotels. You literally get the best bang for your buck. So to help Jimmy out here, we're gonna help him find a Hyatt hotel in New York. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the Hyatt website and we're gonna look for a room on those. Let's just put it for 2 nights. Now, when you're looking to book on points, make sure you always check this box called use points and then hit find hotels. Now look, Jimmy, you're gonna propose, man. So if I were you, I would spend those points on a semi-decent hotel. You could do something like the Andaz Hotel. I've actually stayed here. It's a really nice property. And that's only gonna cost you 25,000 points a night. Now, if you were to book this out of pocket, you're paying about $483 per night. So 2 nights, it's roughly about, after taxes and everything, about $1,000. Or 50,000 points, 25 night 1, 25 night 2. Now, if you wanted to go baller status, you could do the Park Hyatt New York, very popular hotel. That one's ranging about $1,000 a night or 40,000 points. So if you're doing 2 nights, it's about 80,000 that you're going to be spending there, which is much better in my opinion than spending $2,000. So all in all, we flew you to New York in business class and you're staying at a 5-star hotel. And so far, out of pocket, you've only spent about 40 bucks. And that's to cover the taxes and fees that you paid for the flights. This is the beauty of travel hacking and using points and miles. We're literally saving this guy about $2,000 at a 2-night stay at a 5-star hotel and about $2,000 on his flight to New York in business class. I hope she says yes. I've spent over 1 million credit card points in the past 2 or 3 years. Now this right here is what a $10,000 business class seat looks like. It's Qatar Q Suites. I did fly this round trip and I saved a total of about $21,000. Q Suites is known to be one of the best business classes in the world. And let me tell you, I haven't experienced any other business class like them quite yet. Customer service was amazing. The food was great. They honestly nailed it. For this flight, I did spend 70,000 points each way, so 140 round trip. And I only paid about $100 in taxes and fee each way. But all in all, I did save over $21,000 to go to Qatar and come back to the US all in business class. So I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Next, this is what a $10,000 first class flight looks like flying Lufthansa. On this flight, I tried caviar for the first time in the sky. That was pretty cool. As you can see, it's a very spacious first class cabin. What was probably one of my favorite parts was the first class lounge that you get access to, which only people flying in first class get access to that lounge. And then once it's time to board the plane, not only do you go through your own private security to get into that first class lounge, but when they take you to the airplane, they'll actually give you a ride in a Porsche, which is pretty cool. Now, I didn't pay $10,000 for this flight. I actually only paid $180. And when it comes to points, it was 87,000 miles. Not only have I flown all these business and first class seats, but I've also stayed at some pretty expensive hotels around the world. This is what $3,000 gets you in Kyoto, Japan, a junior suite in the Park Hyatt Kyoto, one of the harder hotels to book in Japan. Now, the beauty of credit card points is, unlike flights, you don't have to pay taxes and fees. So the points cover the entire stay. You don't have to pay anything out of pocket. Even though this room costs about $3,000 a night, I only end up spending about 30,000 Chase points to book this room. And as you can see, it looks pretty cool. You walk in, has a nice little bar area. You get your welcome gifts, the famous Japan strawberries. The reason this is a very popular property, Park Hyatts are very well known for having amazing customer service. And I can confidently say that I definitely felt that. Now, this is what a $2,400 room looks like in Paris. And this is actually at the Park Hyatt Vendôme. Now, even though it's a really small room, the welcome gift is really nice. It's got that old school luxury vibe to it. I did end up spending 40,000 points a night to stay here. And I did use Chase points, but you start to see a common theme here of how valuable it is to book things on credit card points. Because you can literally take your entire family on a vacation, have the flights and the hotels fully paid for, or 95% paid for, because you do have to do the taxes and fees for the flights, all by opening 1 or 2 credit cards. And if you have a partner, a wife, a side chick, a player 2, you can also have them open cards and combine your points to get even cooler redemptions. All in all, points and miles can literally save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lifetime when it comes to travel. Even though it's a little bit tricky and it's not one of those things you're gonna learn overnight, 100% worth it in my opinion. Best thing you can do is pick up some of the cards that we talked about earlier in this video, whether it's a starter card or a travel card. That's your step 1. Play the long-term strategy, pick a point system or a bank that you want to build up with. The big players we talked about already are Chase, Amex, Citi, Capital One, and Bilt. Get the cards within that ecosystem. Spend on those cards the right way to maximize all the multipliers. Make sure you're getting the highest sign-up bonuses. Make sure you're using referral links. Make sure you're hitting those sign-up bonuses so you're accumulating hundreds of thousands of credit card points. And then once you have a solo trip, family trip, staycation in your city, whatever it is, run the play, book the flight, book the hotel using the points, using the tools we just talked about. That's pretty much it for those of you who stuck around to the end. If you're interested in getting into the more advanced stuff when it comes to travel hacking, I'd recommend applying to OPM, which is my private group. In this group, we have business owners and entrepreneurs who are currently leveraging their credit for their business, so to make money with it. And a byproduct of having all these credit cards and monetizing them is also having all these points and miles. So we get into how to use them properly. You can see here all of the different things that we talk about when it comes to travel hacking and points and miles. That's only if you want to really learn these things. If you just want a done for you booking service, we have that in OPM as well. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you in the next video.